السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد. As you can expect, what my topic will be today, I want to continue on this idea, this proposal I made last week about being spiritual businessmen and women. Meaning, whenever a situation occurs, we perceive it to be negative, we take that, we understand it, and instead of letting our emotions get the best of us, we get the best of our emotions. We use our emotions to channel our actions and propel us forward, like a good businessman or woman. They will take a negative situation and profit off it. That's what we need to do with our iman. And as always, it is my focus to talk about the spiritual aspects of a situation. Any politics, we'll leave that to our friends at CARE and Shura Council to deal with it or give statements. They are the experts in that field. A second disclaimer, or a second thing I'd like to really tell you, and I want you to digest this with sincerity and honesty, that the situation in Jerusalem is not just a Palestinian ordeal. It is an Islamic ordeal. Every one of us belongs to the Aqsa, to the Dome of the Rock, to Masjid al-Aqsa, the third holiest city. And the Masjid al-Aqsa belongs to every one of us. It is part of you, it is part of our faith. It is something that every prophet has a connection to. Every prophet has either lived in Jerusalem or passed by it. Everyone, including our Prophet ﷺ, in the miraculous journey of Isra and Mi'raj. And it was there where he led the prophets, every prophet, in prayer. So Masjid al-Aqsa has much weight in the hearts of the Muslims because it was something the Prophet ﷺ loved, and therefore we love it. It was something that all the prophets loved, and therefore we love it. It is a holy city. It is a city where we protect our faith. It is a city where we are, it is a city we are proud of, and we will always be that way. So remember, brothers and sisters, it's not a Palestinian issue. I don't want to hear slogans like we are all Palestinians. No, we are all Muslims, because it is an Islamic site. At the same time, the Christians and Jews have their places there, and we do not reject them, their rights to their holy places, as we have never rejected them that throughout Islamic history. And today I want us to reflect on our role models, the Sahaba. And I chose a few verses today from Surah Al-Hajj for us to reflect upon, for us to use it to push us forward, to increase our iman in light of this situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ أُخْرِجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ بِغَيْرِ حَقٍّ إِلَّا يَقُولُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ. Those who were expelled from their home without any right, they were wrongfully expelled, exiled from their home. The Sahaba, they lived in Mecca, the holiest city, and they had to deal with idols around this symbol, which is supposed to be a symbol of monotheism. The Prophet ﷺ prayed 13 years to a Kaaba that was full of idols. How painful is that? Imagine someone putting an idol right here in this masjid. What would we do? It would be gone in seconds. We would never accept it, right? But the Prophet ﷺ, with his iman, his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, continued to pray. And then they were expelled from their land for no rightful reason. It was all injustice. And even if you analyze the animosity of the pagans towards the Muslims, it all goes back to a lie, to jealousy. In a narration, Abu Jahl told someone who would later become a Muslim that I know the Prophet, that Muhammad ﷺ, is telling the truth. I know that. But we have always been competitive with his tribe. Whenever they do something, we would do the same. If they would feed the pilgrims, we would feed the pilgrims. If they would host people, we would host people, and so on and so forth. But then they came with a prophet. Where are we going to get a prophet from? Meaning all his propaganda, all his Islamophobia was based on were lies. They weren't real. It was his own jealousy that led his propaganda, that led his hate against Islam and the Muslims, and which eventually led them to leaving their beloved city. And it was painful for them. And the early years of Medina were harsh years. They became sick. They were in a foreign land. They were kicked out. They lost their money. A lot of them were split from their families or their tribes. They are entering a new land, foreign to them. It's not like today where you're in the same country, you're in the same country. Back then, going from Mecca and Medina, it's a big change. It's a big change. And all of that because of something completely false, injustice. But the Sahaba used that to build themselves. It was only a few years where major victories started coming to them. And what did they have? What did the Sahaba have in the early days of Medina? They had nothing. They were a minority of Medina. Still, the inhabitants of Medina didn't all accept Islam. There were still a lot of pagans. They were a minority in Medina. They were a minority in the geographical location. They didn't have a political voice. They had major enemies. They had no money. They had nothing. They didn't have an economy. They had nothing. But they built themselves slowly and slowly by applying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught them and by following sincerely their Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it wasn't long before they became stronger and stronger. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse something very interesting. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسِ بَعْضَهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعَ, until the end of the phrase. And if it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting people, or how can I explain this correctly? If it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deflecting one person's progression with another's, a lot of chaos would have happened. Meaning, rivals keep each other honest. They keep each other in check. If it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala putting these situations, then much chaos would come about. One can only ask, what is the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this new event? What is His wisdom? Because we believe as Muslims that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never leaves His believers. And that if He closes one door, it's only to open an even better door. But it's for us to take advantage of that. Enough of these emotions, oh my God, and we will rebel and whatnot. No, use it. Be a businessman and woman. A businessman in spirituality, a businesswoman in iman. Let us do that. In light of this scenario, in light of this situation, become stronger. The same way we became stronger, us Muslim America and Muslim Americans, after 9/11. We got ourselves together. We built coalitions. We progressed. And today, 16 years later, we are much stronger than we were pre-9/11. And inshallah, with these events and the current administration, it will only make us stronger. This is iman. This is reality. And every era has their own situation. Everyone dealt with something. This romanticizing about the past and those the glorious days. There were always challenges that faced the Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ dealt with many challenges until the day he died. When Abu Bakr became the caliph, he dealt with apostates. And that was something very, very big for an entire region. After accepting Islam, most of them apostated. And he had to deal with that. That was a pretty big challenge. And then Umar radiallahu anh had to deal with the challenge of massive expansion. He had to deal with that, he had to fix, he had to build. And then Uthman radiallahu anh had to deal with an internal opposition, meaning Muslims who opposed him, who later became called the Khawarij, the extremists, who eventually killed him, they assassinated him. And then Ali radiallahu anh had to deal with the civil war. And then Muawiyah had to deal with stuff, and so on and so forth. This is a reality, Muslims, for us Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala faces us with challenges to make us stronger. Because in the end, the main point of this life is to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do good deeds, so that in the next life, we have a high place in Jannah, inshallah. This is a reality. We don't run away from it, we embrace it, and we deal with it. And it makes us stronger, inshallah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give victory to those who give His religion victory. Don't look at Palestine as just a political situation. It's more than a political situation. Yes, there are politics involved, and we need our friends who are politicians, experts in that field, to help us out in this area. But there's also a spiritual aspect. A lot of the Muslim failures today has to do with their distance from their religion. Be plain and simple. We are failing, many Muslims are failing on a spiritual level. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives victory to those who want His religion to rise. So if we are failing, know that our intentions is incorrect. We need to fix our intention. When we focus on Palestine, when we do these fundraisers, it's not for the Palestinian cause, it's for a Muslim cause. That's what it is. Inna Allaha laqawiyyun aziz. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-powerful, almighty. Alladhina immakkannahum. This is the core right here. الَّذِينَ إِن مَّكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. Those who, if we establish them in a land, what is the result? They establish prayer. Number one, they pray. So for those of us who aren't fulfilling their 5 daily prayers, they're missing out. Let this be an event that promotes that it makes you enthusiastic to pray 5 times a day. For those of us who pray 5 times a day, but they pray at home, let's use this event to come to the masjid a little bit more, especially for Fajr and Isha prayer. For those of us who are fulfilling their obligations, let's use this to somehow be a little bit more involved in the community, with care, with any of these organizations who do a lot of great work. Those who, if we establish them in the land, they pray. And last week we mentioned this. When Musa alayhi salam was told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hide in your homes, it became very bad. The situation became very bad. The first command, pray. When the going gets tough, the Muslims get praying. Because when you pray, your focus shifts from the hardships, from our problems, and it becomes focused on the problem solver, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we can move up, brothers and sisters, the message is filled. And know that when you make room for your brothers and sisters, that is part of Iman, and there is reward in it. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس فافسحوا يفسح الله لكم. So number one, prayer. Use this to propel yourself in prayer. Come to the masjid more often. Make sure you're fulfilling your 5 daily prayers. Number 2, وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةِ. And they gave zakat. They're giving zakat. They're fulfilling that obligation. Alhamdulillah, Muslim Americans, they're very honest when it comes to charity. They're very good at it. We don't need to put much effort in promoting zakat, reminding people of giving zakat, giving charity. We do a good job, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all in this, and may He increase us in our charity giving, because there's so much reward in it. But when you look at these two, why these two things? Zakah and Salah. It's because these two things are really the core of Iman. They're the core of faith. Not only that, they are the foundation of societal building. Because with Salah, you have a community. When a masjid is built, it is a hub for the Muslims to gather. It is a hub for Muslims to get to know one another, to strengthen their bonds. It is a hub where we do social events, where we do humanitarian efforts, and so on and so forth. So the masjid is a hub. We build off a masjid. And number 2, zakah. When you give zakah, it shows that you are grateful for what you have. And it shows that you care about those who are less fortunate. You don't forget the weak one. You don't forget the poor one. You don't forget the minority. It has that social aspect to it. And it's of these two things we build and we go forth. So in these times, increase your charity. If you're not giving zakah, give zakah. If you're not praying, pray. And if you are, then increase in your good deeds. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَنَهَوْا عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. And they enjoin good and they forbid evil. And unfortunately, this concept is either completely abused or completely forgotten. Very rarely do you find someone in the middle who actually does it correctly. It's either the big sheikh with a beard this long, who has his miswak and whipping people, right? You haram brother, right? Why aren't you wearing a thobe? Why is your thobe this and that? That's one picture we have, the haram police as they call it. Or you have those who, Allah Ghafur Rahim, right? Allah forgives, it's okay, do whatever you want. Or later on in life you become more religious. Right now, go enjoy yourself. These are the two extremes that we find ourselves. But in order to enjoy good and to forbid evil, you need to learn about Islam. Because someone who doesn't know cannot enjoy good, nor can they forbid evil. So my dear brothers and sisters, these are 4 things. Number 1, prayer. Number 2, zakah. Number 3, enjoin good. And number 4, forbid evil. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Shura Council, for those of you who don't know what Shura Council is, it is an umbrella organization. Through it, the messages connect and we discuss. So it's like the concept of shura in Islam. The concept of shura is that you get together and you discuss your affairs. You come to a decision based on the opinions of a certain group of people. Okay? So Shura Council released a statement. I'm going to read a few points. Number one, the decision made a few days ago, it disregards the illegal occupation, the constant discrimination and oppression against Palestinians. Number two, it condones the Israeli government's attempts to change the demographic makeup of Jerusalem by constructing settlements, destroying historical sites, and expelling the local Palestinian population. Number three, please remember to differentiate, this is actually mine, differentiate between Jews and Zionists. This is important. And tell your kids, Zionism is different than Judaism. Not every Jew is a Zionist. So our rejection is a rejection of the policies of Zionism, of the Israeli state, and not Jews. We're not saying this out of hate of Jews, but rather out of what's the word? I have lost my thoughts. We're doing this out of condemnation of the policies in the Middle East and Palestine specifically. What can we do? Right? We want to propel ourselves. We want to make ourselves better. What can we do? There are a few things we can do. Number one, join CARE's campaign to contact elected officials. This is important. Politics in this country has a lot of weight, and most Muslims, they ignore it. How many are registered to vote? How many actually vote? And not just the 4-year elections or president elections. How about the government elections and city councils and all this stuff? This is important, brothers and sisters. It has a lot of weight in this country. And CARE is always promoting this. Vote, register to vote. So make sure you register to vote and follow CARE. If you're on Facebook, follow their page, follow their website. They always have activities, they always have protests, they always have community efforts. And they provide a lot for Muslims in America, a lot. And know that our situation here would be a lot worse if not for their efforts. So support them, make dua for them, and follow their activities. Support organizations that advocate for Palestinian rights, such as AMP and If America Knew. Unfortunately, in WhatsApp, what do we send to each other? The Quds has been taken over and the Masjid al-Aqsa has been closed. Well, there are conflicting stories now. I just received a video where one of the teachers in the Masjid al-Aqsa, the female teacher, says that the Aqsa is open and it's calm, and all this that's being spread on WhatsApp and social media is false. So there are conflicting narrations here. Rather, what we could spread is If America Knew. We could spread documentaries made on this issue. We could spread AMP's work, right? So use it for something positive. Don't use it for something negative. And number three, watch the documentaries which show and display the realities on the Palestinian land. This is very important. Know what's going on. And finally, again, I reiterate, register to vote. We need to vote. It has a lot of weight in this country. So my brothers and sisters, do not despair. Do not feel that everything is becoming worse and worse and worse. That's okay. If we are benefiting positively from these events, then alhamdulillah, we are benefiting in one way. And know that Salah ad-Din didn't retake Jerusalem in a day and night. In fact, the efforts of restoring Jerusalem started before he was even born. Jerusalem was occupied for 92 years back in the medieval ages. 92 years. It wasn't day and night, but it took a lot of effort, a lot of building, a lot of sacrifice that we are able to do, we can do. But unfortunately, Muslims are lazy. We are lazy. We have a political organization which helps Muslims. We have money, we have education, we have everything we need. But we need to put more effort in actually using these, utilizing them. Be active, participate, be part of the community. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine and in other areas in Syria, in Bangladesh, in Myanmar, and all these other regions who are suffering. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to uplift their hardships and to replace that which was taken from them. There are many announcements actually. A few people passed away. Number one, Abdul Karim and Rabia Razak. Also, Mrs. Ladmila Ghulam Rida Al-Ayyubi, all passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive their sins and overlook their shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant their family patience. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make their grave a paradise. For Mrs. Al-Ayyubi, there will be condolences accepted this Sunday at OCIF between 3 and 6. And a few people are sick. Sister Hamida Shirzoi, I'm sorry, she also passed away. Sister Hamida Shirzoi passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive her and to overlook her shortcomings. Ruqayya Ghani, as well as Rauf Ghazani. I'm sorry if I mispronounced these names. These two individuals are sick. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them a speedy recovery and to bless their families and to reward them for their patience. OCIF's annual blood drive is on Sunday, January 7th. Please sign up online at redcross.org and use the code OCIF. The Women's Committee meeting is on Thursday, December 14th at 10:30 a.m. We are hoping to see more women join us. So for the sisters who would like to become more active, to propel ourselves in light of this new situation, then you can join the sisters at 10:30 a.m. on December 14th. Friday Al-Quran classes and youth group are meeting today. My OC, the youth group, the first workshop will be on Friday, December 15th. The title of the workshop is Who Was Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which will be presented by the Muslim Speakers Network. It is open to the youth and to the community, so you're all welcome to join us. Santa Ana Masjid's annual banquet is on Saturday, is on Saturday, December 16th at Brookhurst Community Center in Anaheim. See flyers outside. Also, please help us out with charity. Your small donations help us out. Please donate every week. Let us continue providing you the spirituality that you deserve. And finally, make dua for those who are being inflicted by the fires in the north. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put out the fires and to help our brothers and sisters and our American brothers and sisters in humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make things easy on them, protect their homes. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر وأقم الصلاة.